afternoon. Today, the 24th of October 2022, Zambia celebrates its Independence Day. This is a day that in 1964 Zambia legally gained independence from the British rule. But first of all, if we are to look at the coming of these colonial leaders, you'll discover that they actually did not conquer Zambia with guns or wars, but our own leaders back then, traditional leaders, sold us out. Our own people sold us out. The same applies to the practice of slave trade. You'll discover that the Arabs were the first to engage in the activity of slave trade. Did not come to wage war against our people so that they can get slaves. Neither did the Europeans did. But our own people sold us out. They used to catch their own relatives, their own brothers and sisters, and then sell them as slaves to merchants of slave trade. Similarly, today we have got foreigners who are coming to team up with our own people to reap our resources. They are overpricing contracts. They are doing all sorts of things. Foreigners do not do this on their own, shunning paying of taxes and declaring stuff and what, name it. All this is done or is perpetuated in conjunction with our own people. So if you look at all this, you will be able to see that by far and large, we have been our own enemies. You cannot go to Europe and then connive with a European to swindle a European government that side, for example. But here, this is common practice. In most cases, it's our own leaders who does that. We have had issues of overpriced contracts where our leaders ask for commission, cuts, whatever you may call them, and actually encourage these foreign contractors to overprice projects. It's something that we hope the New Dawn government is going to sort out, and they have started on a good note. So far, so good. They have so far achieved a number of notable good deliverables. For instance, the issue of CDF has been increased and largely decentralized. If such is operationalized, I am very hopeful it is going to make meaningful changes in our constituencies, especially rural constituencies where those monies are needed most. The rural constituencies for a very long time have been disadvantaged as compared to urban ones. We hope the few bottlenecks that are there can be gotten rid of so that people can access those monies. You know, the ending of cadreism has pleased a number of us, because I wonder what would have happened if the PF had won, because it was undeniable. Cadres had risen above many government institutions, and if they had won, I don't know what would have become of this country. But the New Dawn government has gotten rid of that, although not completely, but at least we have seen efforts and positive change in that direction. If they continue in that trajectory, we know they are going to leave a very good legacy. But just like any other government, there are also some gray areas that some of us have observed. For instance, the recent happenings in the the by-elections on the Copper Belt, that is Kwacha and Kabushi. I feel that is something that the UPND government should avoid. You know, I do not agree, or rather support Bowman Lusambo and Mr. Joe Malanji as individuals. But if the people of Kabushi and Kwacha likes them and the law does not bar them, I think it was not right to use tactics and all sorts of things just to ensure that they do not appear on the ballot. To be honest, that was very embarrassing on the part of the government, because everyone who is just sober-minded would tell that there was an invincible hand in that. You know, even the ballot papers themselves, they bared 15th September as the date, yet the elections were held in October. You know, I feel embarrassed, so to say, as a senior praise singer, that such a thing happened under a UPND government, the government that I personally expect to be near perfection. I hope the people that are pushing for such moves do not continue, as it will dent the good image of President Hakainde and his government. We know he means well, and I'm 100% certain he might not be the one pulling the strings, but people that want to be seen to be relevant and helpful, but such doesn't make the president popular. You know, the PF government was hated based on such acts of injustice. So I hope and pray that going forward, we are not going to be subjected to such. It's my understanding that this government is going to leave a very good legacy and are going to deliver on a number of promises that they made to the Zambian people. The stabilization of the exchange rate, which has happened, the capping of borrowing and management of debts, which is in the pipeline, the unity and promotion of inclusiveness in the running of government, and a number of other things like employment of teachers, nurses, health workers in general. Yeah. Next, we are waiting to see the government delivering on infrastructural projects, especially on important roads such as the Great North Road, in particular Serenje Chinsari. It's in a deplorable state. Kazungula Sesheke Road needs urgent attention. Kaoma Mongo needs to be worked on too. I feel these should be prioritized even before we can start talking of making the road to Livingstone a dual carriageway. So I wish the president and his government all the best, and my fellow Zambians to celebrate this Independence Day responsibly. And I hope that in the coming few years, Zambia is going to change for the better, for the benefit of everyone. Thank you.